All right, welcome back. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take, and we're just gonna do that general thing that we did in 2 dimensions for lines. We're gonna do it for 3 dimensions. So 3-dimensional lines. Okay, so again, they have a starting point, and let's just start with just a ending point. So let's say that we have a line through the points. Let's say 1, -1, 3, and 4, 5, -2. Okay, so one thing we can do is we can think of it as starting at one point, even though it doesn't really have to start there, we're just trying to say what it is. Okay, so we're gonna say it starts here and ends here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go, okay, I'm gonna write this in a little bit of a weird notation, but I'm gonna say, well, I don't have to do it yet in a weird notation. X of t starts at 1 plus then t, and I'm going to say 4 minus 1. So I'm doing the 4 minus 1. So when t equals 0, it's going to be at 1. And when t equals 1, it's going to be at 4. Okay? Y of t, that's going to be -1 plus t times 5 plus 1, because it's minus that -1. Again, when t equals 0, it's going to be at -1. And when t equals 1, it's going to be at 5. And finally, the z of t, that starts at 3 plus t, -2 minus 3 is going to be minus -5. Well, let me write it this way. Let me actually rewrite this one. Okay. So the way I'm going to say this, the way I'm going to write this often, is I'm going to say, okay, my r of t, okay, so I'm going to use this vector notation here, the r of t, and the difference between a vector and a point is very subtle. I'm not going to really get into it yet, but right now I'm going to use this sort of as a, just go with me here, okay? 1, -1, 3 plus t, and then here I'm going to have 3, 6, -5. Again, when t is 0, I'm at the 1, -1, 3. When t is 1, I'm going to be at 1 plus 3 is 4, -1 plus 6 is 5, 3 minus 5 is -2. Okay? So in general, the line through the points x0, y0, z0, and x1, y1, z1 can be described by r of t equals, just doing the exact same thing we just did. x0, y0, z0 plus t, x1 minus x0, y1 minus y0, z1 minus z0. Okay? Now, what we can think of is that this point here is sort of our starting point. And this point here is our direction. Okay. So what we can say is that we can start talking about directions. So that's going to be in 10.2 when we talk about vectors. Which those videos are coming up after this set of videos. So you don't have to worry too much about them. Okay. All right. So I'll come back. I'm going to do another type of problem and then we'll get into the 10.2 videos.